Hi guys, here we are with lesson 2 and 3 for week 3. So we're going to fill in the blanks. Remember that you can print this out or you can just write it on a separate sheet so you have it for any tests and quizzes that are coming up as a reference. Alright, so weekly time cards is the first one we're going to talk about. Weekly time cards, how they are used to keep track of hours on a weekly time card. So pretty much if you need to work, if you're working like hourly and you want to keep track, some of you may punch in on a computer at work or the register at work. You may have an actual card that you physically have to get punched. So they can do an electronic or a virtual weekly time card. Or you actually might write it out. Some people actually still write it out. You compute the hours you work each day. And at the end of the week, you find your total number of hours worked. And then your computer will calculate that unless you have to do it by hand. If you do not work an entire hour, we're going to round to the nearest hour. So here we go. Who would use a weekly time card? For example, anyone that does not make salary for the most part. So factory workers, construction workers, so anyone that's working by the hour or just gets pretty much straight pay.
Mr. Page, please come to the high school office. Mr. Page.
Hi, Mr. Zip. Okay, so this is an example of what a time card maybe would look like. So if you're looking at the table, you're looking at the left side of the column, which is your days you're working. We're talking about Eddie. And then the top row is the dates, the labels in and out. The total, and then throughout the table is just pretty much when he's coming into work and when he's exiting work. So if you're looking at Monday, December 13th, he clocks in at 8:15 a.m. and he's out at 12 o'clock p.m. So we need to find out the total number of hours for that morning shift. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at the actual minutes and we're going to compare it. So 8:15, and 12 o'clock, they do not match in minutes. So there's a lot of ways to do this. What we could do is we're going to show you one way where you're actually rounding up to the next hour. So starting at 8:15, there are 60 minutes in an hour. So from 15 to 60, we're talking 45 minutes. That will bring us to that 9 o'clock hour. So he's working 45 minutes. Now we're at that 9 o'clock hour. So from 9 to 12, use your fingers if you have to, we still do. So from 9 to 10 is 1 hour, 10 to 11 is 1 hour, and 11 to 12 is another hour. So total, that's 3 hours and 45 minutes for that morning shift. So then he clocks out. He may have a break. That break is from 12 to 12:30, half an hour. And then he clocks back in for a PM shift. So 12:30 to 4:30, those minutes match 30 to 30. So we're just going to count straight. So 12:30 to 1:30, 1:30 to 2:30, 2:30 to 3:30, and 3:30 to 4:30 gives us a total of 4 hours for that PM shift. So we're going to do the same thing for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. In at 8:30, out at 12:30. Again, those minutes match on that Tuesday. So we're just going to count straight. That's 4 hours. And then in again at 1:10 and out again at 5:10. That again, those minutes match. Count that. That's also 4 hours. So that day he worked a total of 8 hours. Wednesday. 8:35 to 12:35, again they match. It's nice when they do that. We're going to count forward 4 hours. 12:45 to 4 o'clock, these do not match, so we're going to round to the next hour so they can match. So 12:45 to 1 o'clock is 15 minutes. So now we have 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, which is 3 hours. Again, if you have a different way, that's fine, as long as you're getting the same as we are. Thursday, the same, 8:15 to 1:30. They do not match, so we're gonna go from 8:15 to 8:30. So then we're gonna actually count from 8:30 to 1:30. So 8:15 to 8:30 is 15 minutes. And then we're counting from 8:30 to 1:30. So 8:30 to 9:30, 9:30 to 10:30, 10:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12:30, 12:30 to 1:30. That is 5 hours. And then from 2 to 3:30, we could match this if we want to, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's 2 o'clock to the whole hour of 3 o'clock, which is 1 hour, and then 30 minutes added on to that. So from 2 to 3, it's going to be 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Good afternoon and attention staff.
And finishing off on that Friday from 8:25 to 12:25, nice and easy, 4 hours for that morning shift. And then 12:45 to 5 p.m., again, 45 minutes to the next full hour of 1 o'clock. Would give us 15 minutes. And then counting from 1 to 5 is 4 hours, so 4 hours and 15 minutes. And then we're going to total this up. So I think the best bet, your best bet actually, would be possibly circling your whole hours first. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to do a different color. So on Monday we have 3 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night. So that's 7 hours. And then we have 8 hours on Tuesday, so that's 15 hours. 7 hours on Wednesday, 21 hours. And then 6 hours on Thursday, 21 and 6 is 27, 27 hours. And then another 4 hours, another 4 hours on Friday, so 8 hours on Friday. That brings us to 36 hours. And then we have, let's kind of like put our minutes together to make full hours. So we have 45, so I'm looking at Monday. We have 45 minutes up there on Monday, and then we have 15 minutes on Thursday. That brings us to an hour, right? And then on the right-hand side, we have 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 15 minutes. This works out nicely. It doesn't always work out this nice, but they do make 2 full hours, because 15, 30, and 50 make us 60. So we're going to add 2 more hours onto that 36 hour, which brings him to working 38 hours for that week. Okay, so looking at Eddie's break on Tuesday, if you're looking at Tuesday's table, in between the in and out on Tuesday, we have 12:30 to 1:10. So 12:30 to 1 o'clock is 30 minutes. Add another 10 minutes onto that. So Eddie's break on Tuesday would be 40 minutes. Expect these type of answer or type of questions on your quizzes and tests to come. Which day did Eddie work the most? When you're calculating through, you would calculate that Friday would be his most worked day at 8 hours and 15 minutes. 3 and 4 kind of bring us back to what we did this past week with hourly rate and overtime. So it says if Eddie makes an hourly rate of $17.25, how much does he make this week? So we know he works 38 hours at $17.25, so we're going to multiply that like we had before. And we get $655.50. That's pretty good. But then they say, you know what, Eddie, I'm going to pick up a Saturday shift from 8 to 12:30, and he received time and a half. How much overtime pay does he earn? I don't want a total, I just want overtime. So his rate is $17.25, so $17.25. I want to multiply that by 1.5 like we did this past week to find a new rate, because you need a new rate in order to do it. And that's $28.88 an hour. It's pretty good. I'd work it. And then we got to figure out how many hours he's working. So from 8 to 12, that's 4 hours, and then a half of an hour. So half of an hour in decimal form is probably the best for you. Like minutes, 30 minutes is half of that 60. So it would be 4.5 hours. You're going to take that $28.88, multiply it by 4.5 hours. To give you a total of $116.44. And that's just overtime. If we wanted to continue and find that full, we would add that number 3 and number 4 together.
All right, guys, Mr. Parisi here. Now we are talking piecework. So what is piecework? This is when maybe you don't work for an hourly rate. You get paid based on the amount of work you complete. So a worker would receive a special amount of money for each piece of work he completes. So your total pay is just the rate you get for that item or service times the number of items produced. So who would get paid piecework? Let's talk about an example of this. A good example to start off with would be hairdressers, maybe. Hairdressers only get paid when they cut somebody's hair or they dye somebody's hair. So for each service they provide, they're going to get money. If they don't cut anybody's hair in a day, they're not making money. If they cut a bunch of people's hair, they're going to make a lot of money. So that's an example of piecework right there. Some other examples would be contractors, carpet installers, carpet cleaners, you could say, or even landscapers, people that go out and cut lawns. These are all examples of piecework where you're going to get paid more the more work you do. So let's get into a question. Find the total pay. Roman Hernandez silkscreens prints for a local artist who pays $4 for each print he completes. Last week he silkscreened 75 prints. This week he completed 71. What was his pay each week? So last week the rate was $4. He produced 75 prints. When we multiply those together, he made a total of $300 last week. This week, still the rate stayed the same. He was making $4 per print, but he only produced 71 prints. So when we multiply that together, we made $284. If we wanted the total amount for the 2 weeks, we would add them up, and Ramon made $584. Question number 2. Amanda edits wedding and corporate videos for Black Horse Videography. She earns $500 to be a lead shooter at a wedding, $400 to be a second shooter at a wedding, $500 for each wedding video she edits, and $200 for shooting a commercial. Find her total monthly pay using the piecework below. August 1st, or the week 1 in August, she was a lead shooter at a wedding and she edited a video. Week 2, she was a lead shooter at a wedding and a second shooter, and she shot a commercial. Week 3, she edited 2 wedding videos. Week 4, she was a lead shooter and edited a video. She was a lead shooter twice, that is, Friday and Saturday for August, the 4th week. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill out this table. We're going to pause the video, or you should pause the video and try and fill it out yourself now, based off of how much money she made. So we filled this table out based off of her work schedule for the month up here. For a couple things to notice. If you notice, week 3, she edited 2 videos, so that wasn't just $500 since she edited 2, it was $1,000. Same thing for week 4. She was the lead shooter twice, so she made $500 on 2 separate days, which was a total of $1,000. So if we want her total pay, all we have to do is add everything up in this chart. 500, 500, 500, 400, 200, 1,000, 1,500. We get a total of $4,600 for the month. Not too bad. And that brings us to our last question, and that is Copy Center charges 8 cents per page for a black and white copy and 18 cents per page for colored copies. If Logan has $10 and makes 75 black and white copies, how many colored copies can he make? First thing we need to do is figure out how much those black and white copies cost. So we're going to take these 75 black and white copies, multiply it by the 8 cents per black and white copy, and realize that we just spent $6 on black and white copies. That would mean if I started with $10 and I spent $6 on black and white copies, I only have $4 left. So with that $4, I want to spend it all, or as much as I can, on colored copies. So I'm going to take my $4 and see how many times 18 cents can go into it. So we're going to go $4 divided by 18 cents to see how many times that 18 cents can go into $4, and it's going to be 22.2. Now that 22.2 is the absolute most I could pay for, but I wouldn't pay for 0.2 copies. So we could only afford 22 copies there. You now have the notes for piecework and for weekly time card. Be sure to copy down any notes you need so you have them for your records and go through the homework questions. Okay? Use your notes, rewatch this video, and try the homework problems. They're going to look very similar to what we just did here. Make sure you are submitting a picture if you're a fully remote student on your classroom assignment, as well as filling out the Google form. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you in the next one.